24. Toronto's breaking news.
Welcome back to the premiere edition of On the Rocket. I'm TTC Chair Adam Giambrone, and joining me is Mitch Stambler, who's the manager of service planning. Mitch, we have an email from a viewer, and I think there's a photo that we're going to throw up. It just came in from Mona, and she asks, she's talking about buses bunching up, and she says they don't come, and once they do, 7 of them come together. And these photos that are showing up right now were taken this morning at 8 a.m. There were 6 buses in a line on Finch Street at Bayview intersection. And then she goes on to say that this was silly. And Mitch, you know, this is one of the questions I wanted to talk about today, because really, I hear it all the time. I live by Dufferin Street, so I see it on Dufferin Street. And why do the buses come 7 at a time? It's almost like they travel in a pack.
Yeah, pretty frustrating for customers. We plan them to operate on a regularly spaced interval between each bus so that there'll be even distribution of people among buses. But our vehicles operate in mixed traffic, and when you're in mixed traffic, the unknown and unexpected can happen. If there is a blockage of the road, if there's a truck, a courier, an accident, an emergency, any of that can hold up progress of the first vehicle. It doesn't take long for the following ones to catch up to it. A bus can be delayed when there's a large number of people trying to get on, say a bunch of students heading for a high school. It takes a long time for those passengers to board. That can hold up the vehicle as well. And again, other vehicles get caught up. We could get, we have a very closely spaced services, like very frequent service. A red light that a vehicle catches will again hold it up, and the others catch up very quickly. And then it snowballs. Once they catch up, the first one has to carry all the people that are trying to get on. The other ones behind can't do much except when they leapfrog in front.
And what do we do to actually try to regulate that?
We have both on-street supervision, whose job it is to try to regulate the service, move the vehicles into an appropriate place. So sometimes there's the dreaded short turn where the vehicle will be turned into a better location on the route. Sometimes the vehicle will be sort of expressed past the one that seems to have been held up. We also have remote vehicle locating and monitoring, so we can get a picture of the whole route where all the vehicles are and try to move vehicles into more even spacing that way.
Because I know it is very frustrating. But before, I want to go to one of our tweets, because there's another comment. But we also want to remind you how you can reach us here at On the Rocket.
To reach us by phone, call 416-872-CP24. That's 416-872-2724. Or toll free at 1-888-863-CP24. You can send us an email to ontherocket@cp24.com or reach us on Twitter by going to our website at cp24.com.
Hi. Welcome back to On the Rocket. I'm TTC Chair Adam Giambrone, and we're talking transit with commuters. And Tara, welcome to On the Rocket.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
I do have a question for you.
Great.
Is the TTC working on a plan that will be able to announce delays more effectively? I do get notifications in my emails and stuff, but I noticed that all transit operators do not get a notification.
So, you know, one of course, the biggest things that we've got on the TTC is the problem with delays. There's could be an accident if it's on a streetcar route. The subway has various problems, and there's delays that come, which we all expect. We introduced these new e-alerts, and I think, are you on our e-alert system?
That's where you get a notification sent to your email there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
So you get that. But, you know, part of our challenge is right now that's only on the subway. So over the coming months, we're going to roll that out over 2010 to all the surface networks. So if you were on a streetcar like we are today, you would be getting a notification. Today, we only do it for major problems, like when we had the fire on Queen Street, and we had to route around that. But our hope is in the coming months that you'll be able to sign up, for example, if you wanted to know about elevators being out of service at a station, it might be in a wheelchair, one of the bus routes, and you really could sign up for all of them. Probably you're going to want to sign up for the ones that directly affect you as well.
Right. And what about somebody that doesn't have a phone to be able to check their email?
Well, and that's one of our challenges too. So we're doing things like Facebook and Twitter, but that's already up and operating, and we do that, but we need to do more of that. And of course, we're going to work on more notifications with our screens and the stations, better communication. That's what it's all about. We're going to go to a break right now, Tara, and then when we come back, we're going to take more phone calls and your emails on the Rocket. Welcome back to On the Rocket. I'm TTC Chair Adam Giambrone, and joining me is Mitch Stambler, who's the Manager of Service Planning. I thought we'd take one of the tweets that we got just right off the bat here. It's from Richard, and Richard wants to know, and it's a question I get a lot, when is the subway coming up to North York? And Mitch, I guess the short answer is we're still doing some of the studies. The TTC's, I know, has money in its budget to continue the environmental assessments, property protections, but right now there is no funding for the Yonge North extension.
Right. The original expectation was that on a very aggressive schedule, we could open the line into York Region by 2016. That was super aggressive. And
that was a couple years ago. We haven't, of course, received any funding. So really, I guess the answer is first, there has to be the money, and it's somewhere around $2.5 billion to extend it up into Richmond Hill. But we also have problems because we have a lot of other things we have to do. I don't know, maybe you could quickly tell us what the other issues are about extending it up to North York, or to Richmond Hill.
A really valid question that was asked at City Council was, do we have enough capacity in the downtown section of the line to carry all the extra demand that would be picked up in York Region and points north? And that has to be addressed to make sure that we're not going to be faced with a capacity constraint where people can get on in the north, but there'll be no room left for anybody to travel into the downtown. And that's really the study that's going on now, the various ways to provide more capacity into the downtown so that when we do extend the subway, everybody who wants to ride through will have the space to do so.
And that one of the options, there's issues about, of course, the Bloor and Yonge station. We're putting in automatic train control, which will allow more trains, handle more people. And we're studying the downtown relief line, that U-shaped subway line that will, of course, help take off some of the capacity issues on the Yonge line and the Bloor line.
Right, and our new subway cars, which will start arriving next year, will carry about 10% more people just by virtue of their design. So we'll get an instant increase on the line once those go into service.
And those are coming in really first thing in the new year. They begin to be added to service.
Yeah.
Mitch, let's go to another call just to get some more people on. I think it's Cecilia from Etobicoke. Cecilia, welcome to On the Rocket.
Hi. My question involves the 501 West streetcar that goes to Long Branch. I'm a regular rider, take it to and from work every day, and work includes late night. And I've realized that the Long Branch streetcar seems to short turn. So I want to know, A, why is there such kind of importance put on moving people in the downtown core? And B, why, when you're short-turning it for service reasons, why we can't receive like an emergency transfer or any form of retribution for having to be forced off at Kipling?
So maybe we'll start with the first part about what's happening with the Long Branch car, and we've got actually the perfect person to talk about that, Mitch. I know you've been doing a lot of work on the Queen Street car, and of course that includes the Long Branch. So maybe can you tell us quickly what's happening in Long Branch and what some of the issues are?
Yeah, I mean, we must remember every line's important to us, and right through the city we strive for reliable and regular service. But there was a lot of public interest in making the 501 route more reliable, and we've done a number of measures, but the one that's under trial right now was to split the route into two halves that overlap in the central area. The first one that goes from Long Branch to Parliament, the other from Neville in the east over to Shaw. The logic was that it's such a long route that if there's a problem anywhere in the central area, if it's all one route, the problem will ripple to both ends. And the thinking was that if it were split into two, then if the problem was on the east end, it wouldn't affect the west end. That could operate independently and continue to be reliable even if the other end is affected. So we're trying it out, and we're doing this for a 5-week period, and we're measuring it to see if this improves the reliability. But when you are operating in mixed traffic, you will never be able to avoid some disruption and obstruction to service.